Hi, I'm Carmine Recchiuto from the Research Track course, and I'm here to show you how to create an Azure virtual machine for the Advanced and Robot Programming course. At first, you need to have a Microsoft account, and to this aim, you can go to this website, and you can enroll in the Office 365 Unigio program. You can use here your UnigiPass credential in order to associate your J-EMARO with a Microsoft account. Now go to the azure.microsoft.com free students website and activate your Azure for Students plan. You should use here the account that you have just created, and here you should use the password, not the UnigiPass, but the password you have used for creating your Microsoft account. You will be required now to insert some personal data for enrolling in the Azure for Students plan. So you should put here your telephone number with a country code. You can ask to receive an SMS, and once you receive the verification code, you should insert it here. Now you should put here your name, surname, your email address, and your phone number. We have finished with the registration. If you are happy, you can select the smile. And now you are enrolled in the Azure for Students Microsoft plan. You have now your Azure dashboard, and you should select here the options and virtual machines. Click on Create to select the options for your new virtual machine. Subscription, here you should just select Azure for Students. You should here create a new resource group, and you can select the name that you prefer. I'm going to use ARP for this example. The same way, you can select the name for your virtual machine. Here the region should be the closer to your location, and here you just may select Ubuntu Server 1804. For the authentication type, select password because it will be easier than to access to the virtual machine. You should then define your username and the password. Password should be longer than 12 characters. Then you can select the inbound port rules, and you can select all ports to be allowed for being reached. Okay, once done that, just go forward, and for the other settings, you can just leave the default settings, so you don't need to change them. So just go forward with the management settings, then advanced settings, tags, and then you can just review all settings and create the virtual machine. Here we have the subscription cost, so you see that this virtual machine will cost 10 cents per hour, but you have a credit of 100 euro. So basically you have 1000 hours for working on this virtual machine. Then just click on Create, and after some time, the virtual machine will be ready to be used. So you need just to wait for some minutes. Now the video is speed up so that we will just wait a few seconds. Now your virtual machine is up and running, and from this page you can see the public IP address which has been assigned to your Azure virtual machine. From this page you can also stop and start again your virtual machine, and it's very important to remember to stop the virtual machine when you are not going to use it, so when you finished working on it, for example, because by stopping it you will avoid to waste your free credits. Remember that you have more or less 1000 hours for working on your virtual machine. So when you stop the virtual machine, you are not consuming your free credit. We need now to open some ports to allow for communicating by a TCP or UDP protocol with the virtual machine. You can just click on networking on the left, and then here you can add an inbound security rule. You can select here the number of the port, the type of the protocol, TCP or UDP, and then you should just give the name of the port and, if you want, a brief description of what the port is doing. Just click Add, then wait a few seconds, and the port will be listed among your inbound port rules. So now we can connect by using the port 5000 and by using the protocol TCP to our virtual machine. At first, let's see how to actually work remotely on the virtual machine. I can use the SSH protocol. So from my host system, I open a terminal and I write SSH, then the username that we've used, at the IP address which is indicated in your dashboard. After inserting your password, then you will have the possibility of directly working on the virtual machine. If you're using Windows, you can do the same also with a software which is called PuTTY. You can just insert the IP address, leaving 22 as port, and again you will be required to insert your username and the password which you have selected when you have created the virtual machine. And after a while, you will have the possibility of working remotely on the virtual machine. Okay, let's now check if the port is actually open, so we can connect by using the TCP protocol to the Azure virtual machine. You don't have to do this step. I'm just showing it for check, but actually what we'll do is to write some client and servers, as Professor Zaccaria will show you during the course. For the moment, so I'm just going to check if everything is working, and to do this, I'm going to run a kind of TCP server on the virtual machine by using Netcat. So now let's imagine that you have a TCP server running on the virtual machine, and I'm using a simple client which is called socket test to connect to this IP by using the port 5000. Let's wait for a while that the client is going to be connected, and now I'm just trying to send some strings, and I will check if on the server these strings will be received. So I go to check the content of socket.out, and yes, these strings are actually received. So I have sent these strings from my host to the Azure virtual machine by using the TCP protocol and the port 5000. Remember, as I said before, stop the virtual machine when you finish working on it. And also, you can see that you have the possibility of reserving your IP address for the next time that you're going to start again the virtual machine. By doing this, you will be sure that each time you start again the virtual machine, then you will always get the same IP address. If you don't check that box, it's not a big deal. What happens is that the next time you start your virtual machine, you can probably get a different IP address. So now the virtual machine just stopped. What you need to do when you are going to work again on your virtual machine, just go to the link portal.azure.com and you will get your resources. And clicking on your virtual machine name, you will get your dashboard, and you can click on Start, and your virtual machine will be up and running again. You see that in this case, I just got a different IP address from before. Okay, last thing that I want to show you is how to copy files from your host system to your virtual machine. You have seen that you don't have a graphical user interface on the virtual machine, so it may be difficult to write code. And To this aim, you can just write code on your host system and then copy the code that you have developed on your virtual machine. To this aim, I'm going to show you how to use the SCP protocol in order to transfer some directories and files from your host system to the virtual machine. On the right, you can see here that I'm going to log in remotely to the virtual machine by using the SSH protocol that we have seen before. So I just write SSH, the username, the IP address of the virtual machine. I insert the password and then I'm inside the virtual machine. You can see that in my home there are no files beside the socket.how that we have created before. On the left, I'm going to use the scp command in order to transfer a directory from my host system to the virtual machine. How to do that? You just write scp, you use the flag R when you should copy a whole directory, then the name of the directory, and then you put your username, the IP address of the virtual machine, colon, the path where you want to copy the files or the directory. After some time, then the files or the directory will be copied on the virtual machine. And this will be very important, as I said before, if you need to write some code and you prefer to do this on your host system and then just to copy things on the virtual machine. You have all information that you need for starting, creating and working with Azure Virtual Machine. So if you have then additional doubts or questions, feel free to contact me or Professor Zaccaria. Goodbye and see you soon.